Almost did. Almost. We're still here. They will not see it, unfortunately. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. I hope you can all hear me. It is your host and founder on this wild ride, Demetrius Villa. I hope you all are doing well. Oh, man, they almost got here. One more time. One more time. Here we go. Wasting away again in Margaritaville. We're still searching for my lost sugar song. Okay, let's not get a copyright strike there. Okay, hello everybody, welcome aboard. It is your host and founder of this wild ride, Mr. Bones. I want to get off Mr. Bones' wild ride. No, you cannot get. I hope you all are doing well. All right, you can hear me. Good. What's up, everybody? I hope you all are doing well. Your host and conductor, Demetrius Villa. Okay, but we have a lot packed in here today. But I mean, conductor, we do not have a problem. I don't know. This was changing from the minute in the last couple days. Wow. Okay. I mean, just everything that has happened in the last couple days has just been alrighty. Okay, I guess. But yeah. By the way, it is hot out there. It is blistering hot out there. I hope you guys are doing okay. But I mean, speaking of heat, we just have avoided something pretty scary in the last couple days. But this is kind of funny. The memes from it, and then we'll just talk about it. But I mean, at least it can kind of be funny. Here you go. If I can get it into the screen here, you know what? Let me just move it over. There we go. There you go. I got a lot to go through, guys. Okay, I hope you all are doing well, guys. This is it was just changing by the minute. There you go. Here's one of these memes. Tomorrow we'll strike this target. Be careful. I will retaliate the strike on your base. Don't forget to evacuate. It's been crazy. But guys, unfortunately, we do have to say a big rest in peace to our beloved bipartisan, respectable bipartisan, Mr. Holden Bloodfeast, who got what he wanted. He almost got what he wanted. He almost got what he wanted. All the young Zoomers and young millennial men who were hoping that this was going to be a golden age, and all of a sudden we're going to be drafted over to go to die for Mr. Bloodfeast and his ilk. We got lucky, I guess. But anyway, Mr. Holden Bloodfeast has sadly passed away after seeing Mr. Trump, the president. I don't know what the hell is going on anymore, and frankly, I don't think he knows what the hell is going on anymore. He just doesn't know what it's been crazy, man. Oh man, but. Yeah, respectable bipartisan Lindsey Graham and John Fetterman intended his funeral. Rest in peace, Mr. Holden Bloodfeast. But anyway, guys, I hope you all are doing well. Welcome aboard. But yeah, guys, it's been a hot one out there. It's been hot, so hot that I hope you're not riding Amtrak at this point, because you may just be stuck. Amtrak loses power underground, strands passengers during a heat wave we are having. It is a hot one out there. So yeah, right in. I believe it was in the which tunnel was it in? Because it was during that tunnel. Oh yes, malfunction near Baltimore's Penn Station, and yes, that tunnel in Baltimore. Yes, so people were stuck. There you are. Oh man, with no power. Talk about a hot one. By the way, we still sell if you guys are interested. I'm hawking my goods here. We still have these. So the next time you get stuck in an Amtrak heat wave, you can go ahead and rep the American Rail Club with one of our tank tops. I probably should maybe take this to the gym and actually do some actual promotion at some point. You know how I am. I just want to get to talking about this sort of stuff rather than promoting anything. But here we are. I hope you're all doing well. Yeah. Mr. Heat, snow in Yellowstone National Park. Wow, Star Force, it is hot. Yeah. Wow. Okay, I'd rather be in Yellowstone right now. Let's be honest. It is far easier to make heat when it's cold than to make cool when it's heat. Do you put in the oven? If whatever, you know that joke. But anyway, yeah, I would rather freeze than melt. Okay, being a Miami, born and raised in Miami, gone through a dozen or so hurricanes without power. I would rather, at least in the blizzard, you can put some stuff, light it up. There you go. There's some heat. Done. Very easy. You know what it takes to go ahead and cool down a house? Okay, and not only that, I mean, it's just crazy. But look, America is not the only place that's apparently falling apart, guys. It's also happening, and we talked about this before, in Spain, where you have some copper wire being stolen, some copper cables being stolen. Gee, I wonder who could be stealing the copper wiring on the signaling cable taken from 4 locations, delaying high-speed services between Madrid and Seville week after massive power cut. And that was back last year. I mean, sorry, not last year, last month, in May. So it's really it gets pretty damn hot in Spain. But yeah, so there you go. The cables that had been targeted had little monetary value, being worth a total of 300 euros. Or 256 pounds, about what, $250, about more or less. Essential to the safety of the lines, they allow the system to know where the trains are. Well, this is seeming to be now a pattern. A pattern now, because thanks to a certain ally we have that has caused destabilization in a certain region and certain amounts of people that we've bombed to move to certain places, this is now becoming more and more. We've been talking about this before, and I think it's now valid that this is a valid concern, that if we want to build us infrastructure, we've talked about this before, right? We've talked about it, that if you want to have a stable nation, you have to have a stable people too, or at least some sort of vision of what our people are going to be. Okay, because nations are not just people put and slapped together. Okay, and I think people are now starting to figure that out. Of what are we talking about over here? Okay, because let me see where it is. Okay, never mind. But again, let me go back to this. This is becoming apparently a pattern in Europe now and in the West. Eurostar services restart after severe delays due to huge cable theft in France. It's happening in France too. Look at that. Would you look at that? It's just not good. Yeah. Again, more copper cabling being stolen. So Eurostar service between the UK and EU have been restored after a huge section of rail cable was stolen or cut in France, causing delays to thousands of journeys. At least they were able to get it done quickly, but let me see if I can continue reading. That'd be nice. There we go. So, yeah, situation caused chaos for travelers at London St. Pancras Station. Full repairs were done the same day, so that's good. A team of 15 engineers scrambled to repair the high-speed line after 600 meters of cable. Wow, stolen or cut at Lille Europe Station, the key interchange for trains between London and Paris. Likely subject to severe delays, last-minute cancellations, or stations are very busy. We advise you to cancel or postpone your trip. But yeah, there you go. This is funny. A couple in their 70s from Coventry who had their holiday plans disrupted. Of course, they were going to Spain. Apparently, that seems to be a thing for British boomers. They tend to go to Spain on holiday. They don't call it vacation over there. They call it holiday. We had our train canceled this morning, and we've been waiting most of the day for Eurostar to make their alternative arrangements. The couple intended instead to take a flight to Spain from Gatwick. Sorry, Spain. The scourge will keep invading. Unfortunately, it's oh well. Hey, but look, back to this. Speaking of the scourge that it's invading, yeah, this is happening more and more now. In Europe, it's just more and more of the stuff being happening, where signaling cables being stolen and that sort of stuff. Again, it's not just here in the United States. This is something that's going on everywhere. So yeah, this is what happens if you want to build a first world country. It needs to be kept first world, right? And I've been thinking about this for the United States. We have a broken, demoralized, unfortunately, the infrastructure is broken, right? Here in the United States, the infrastructure is broken. So badly that now Americans are told to now avoid driving in 7 states through Tuesday night because it's so hot. The ozone is so bad, whatever it is. Ridiculous traffic abound everywhere. The roads have broken apart. The infrastructure's fallen. People demoralized and unhealthy. And to the point that now cars are falling apart because we're basically becoming, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, that it's basically coming, and this is stuff that we've already known, right? New cars nowadays are complete trash. More or less just complete trash. They fall apart before they even reach 100,000 miles. The planned obsolescence has gotten to an extreme point that there won't even be used cars from this decade. Very few used cars available in the next couple of years. So you're going to have a bubble of used cars that are 10, 15 years old. And I say, wow, so we have used cars that are getting really old. We may have some Chinese cars starting to come in. The roads have broken apart. The buildings have fallen apart. It's starting to look like Cuba. This country is becoming a Latin American crap hole at this point. It has. It's basically a semi-functioning Latin American country. And that's what we have to kind of start thinking of the U.S. about. The rules have started to change. At least there's some good news. At least, by the way, we do have this here. If it'll come up. Here we go. Some good news. The new Lackawanna station over in New Jersey. There we are. Let's see. Wait, I have something for this. There we are. James Gandolfini and Simpson's mural at the grand opening of the Lackawanna station today in Montclair, New Jersey. There we are. I think it goes to say, I think at this point, if we are going to start turning in that direction, this is kind of the mindset that we're gonna have to start coming up with in this country to really start getting things solved or fixed or whatever, because it's getting pretty bad, guys. It is, but I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. Like we said before, Los Angeles has had a very bad time in the last 6 months. They've burned twice. They would have burnt another third time if things went the bad direction. And it would not have been Iran. Funny enough, it would not have been Iran blowing up Los Angeles at this point. And I think, look, here's at least a good thing from this absolutely ridiculous silliness that has transpired over just in the last week or so. At this point, I'm losing count of what's going on. This year has been absolutely bonkers. Just this month has been bonkers. Okay, well, wasn't June, I guess, supposed to be Pride Month? Well, that was canceled. Then it became Mexican month, and then it became World War III month. It's wow. It's, as the saying goes, years can add. You have to sometimes get years where only weeks happen, and then you get, and of course I'm paraphrasing that. That's not the exact quote. You have years where weeks happen, and then you have weeks where years happen. And this has definitely been one of those years where it's just happening after happening after happening. It's just been crazy. But at least, look, the good thing is that people are starting to figure out that maybe we need to just start getting away from foreign interventionism at the very least. And again, I'm very much euphemizing that, but we need to start really thinking, what the hell are we actually getting from these guys over here? What the hell are we getting from them? And people are starting to figure that out, and that's becoming now an open thing. So that's at least a good thing out of all this. Done. We can finally start to kick away all the bad influences. We can start to question it and start to figure out over here. I mean, to the point where Casey the car guy, it's a YouTube channel that I've been following for years. Casey the car guy is talking about it. And look at it. It's even like Theo Vaughn, Thomas Massey, which, by the way, is probably one of the only few senators that actually, or representatives that actually have any sort of standing. Hold on a second, because my desktop audio doesn't seem to be working here. There we go. Hold on a second. What's going on? There we go. Always something. It's always something. It's always something. There we go. All right.
Good ally for us?
Well,
Or is that too general of a question?
Well, I think it doesn't matter. Like, there's no big, giant Great Britain lobby. There's no Australian lobby. There's no German lobby.
Oh, the other countries don't have them.
No, not like this. This is singular. This is unique. I mean, if you're an ally, why wouldn't we work with you? Why do you have to convince us?
But you get the point. I mean, things are starting to change now. So that's at least a good thing. We're getting past some of the big distractions, and that's really been the thing. This whole thing for decades has been a massive distraction into what the purpose and what our national priorities should be. It should be over here, not over anywhere else in the Middle East or anywhere else. Okay? And thankfully, things are starting to change. That's the good thing. Look, if this would have happened when... There we are. Okay, we got the volume working, I think, now. If things were starting... Let's say this. If the economy was better, right? It was like 80s, 90s level, 1980s, 1990s level. There was a lot of upward mobility. Most young men are able to find a job. There's not too much economic instability out there. Nobody would have cared. Nobody would have cared what would really be more or less going on in the Middle East. It'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Something we can see on TV. Yeah, whatever. That's cool. That's cool to see. But it's not that case anymore. And unfortunately, it's the same type of people who have been lobbying for these sorts of interventionism that have also pushed for the high amounts of migrants into the West, that have also pushed for the destabilization of our country and of everything else. They kind of shot themselves in the foot. Like I said, if it would have been even if it was the economy in the 1970s, things would have been at least so much better that most people wouldn't care. That's the problem, is that it's come to an inflection point where you have so many terrible things happening in the United States. And look, is it bad economically and everything? Yes. But I think we're still at a point where things are way too comfortable for the vast majority of people to really get some stuff done. But at least it's gone to the point that at least people are starting to question, and it's now become a mainstream topic. So that we can finally start to fix our country and finally get back on that. That's what we need to do. Which, at least a good thing that is this is another thing that was probably more important than whatever the hell was going on over in a foreign desert. Let's talk about our own deserts. Let's talk about our own forest over here, because this was something, at least a slight win, at least for us. The National Forest proposed for land sale has been dropped out of the bill. Now there's still some on there. And I know that this was something that a lot of people on our side were really pissed off about. According to a new version of the bill obtained Wednesday by Politico, Lee is still intent on selling off parcels of public land, but there are several new guardrails in place after the original proposal received widespread backlash and was deemed violation of Senate rules by the body's parliamentarian. Notably, U.S. Forest Service is no longer eligible for sale, and the bill language states that only Bureau of Land Management, or BLM, land will be disposed of. Now, the problem with this... Again, it's not the worst thing. It's a little bit better than what it was before. But here's the thing: this whole entire point of building on BLM land, and we have to build housing. Well, first of all, we have the largest surplus of housing since the 2008 housing crisis. So housing is not the problem. Okay, the problem is that the houses that are being built rather poorly, as we've talked about before. That's just one part of it.
Rain.
We've talked about how bad, and this is the problem. They're going to go ahead and take all this land, all these beautiful, some of them are just kind of, it's just kind of desert. It's just kind of whatever land. But that's not the point. The point is we're just continuing the suburbanization of America, pushing that all out, rather than actually fixing our cities, making actual housing that actually works, that will last. And instead importing in basically scab labor, slave labor, because the bosses don't want to pay actual Americans to build actual housing for Americans. So instead we have crappy housing being built. That's all this land grab is going to do. It's going to be sold off to Blackstone, to State Street, to BlackRock, to go ahead and buy all this land up, to go ahead and make some of these crappy homes that are going to be 8 times the national average of your salary. And look, it's like this not even lived in, and these houses are made out of crap, and they're going to keep importing in, which this is what needs to go on. Forget about we just in this month alone, everybody's complaining about a certain people under a flag that's green, white, and red, burning the American flag and more or less chanting death to America. Well, do we not? Let me see. I think that something like that happened in Los Angeles where, excuse me, hold on a second. Wait a second. People talking about we have to go to war with a certain nation because they're waving their own flag while burning our own, more or less chanting death to our country, death to America, all that sort of stuff, right? I wonder where we've been seeing that happen. I wonder where we've seen that. Oh, wait a second. Is that Tehran? Is that Tehran? No. This was Los Angeles this month. Not Tehran, Los Angeles. This is the problem that I keep talking about, guys. And we've talked about this. The whole theme of this month has more or less been the same. What is it all worth that we go ahead and build all this beautiful infrastructure if it's just going to get burnt and destroyed by people who don't want it? They don't like it being here. They don't like us. They don't like this country. They don't like what it stands for. They don't want to be here. And it's just that's the problem. Forget this other flag. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because it's been talked about ad nauseum by every other channel for the last, 72, 48 week, whatever. Okay. I'm just glad, at least for the time being, that this time it hasn't gone, at least for now. Who knows where else it can go. Okay. But that's the problem. We're going to go ahead and build all this beautiful infrastructure so it gets burnt down, or so that the cables can get destroyed, or that the cables can get stolen, and the infrastructure can be destroyed. No. This is why we have to start really thinking about what we're going to do. What? So we're going to sell more land so they can keep doing this. This is what you want, more of this, or actually fixing our countries. That's what we need to do. What? So we can build more of these? More of these? I guarantee you, and I've seen McMansions that look like these just around this area here in suburban Indiana. Okay, I guarantee you this is going to go for like $2 million or so. Why? So Boomer Billy and Boomer Brenda can have the Corvette C2, their Corvette C3. They got their Corvette C4, and maybe space for their new Corvette C7 right there. And then we got the big boat, and then we got the RV. But don't worry. Don't worry. There's no such thing as massive economic disparity right now. Look, and there's always going to be economic disparity. There's always going to be rich and poor. That's not the point. The problem is that it's so way off base that there's little to no upward mobility for those in the middle, if there's even a middle at this point. And at this point, why again? To what point are we going to keep building infrastructure so we can sell all this BLM land? So we can keep building out and out and out into the desert. Okay? Now, there's some things that are being built in the desert, and we will talk about that. Brightline is now going ahead and doing the initial work to do field investigation and actually start building in there, which is a heck of a lot more than they're going to get done before California. Okay? And we won't talk about that joke today. Okay? It's sad what's happening in California, but at least there's some good things going on in California, like this that happened. There you are. So this happened in downtown Los Angeles, where ICE raided, and there you go. These are jobs. Why? Because the woman who's filming here, who's I guess the boss or the owner of this business, does not want to hire actual Americans. She would rather pay somebody that was snuck over the border, and the whole economics of this and the whole supply chain and logistics behind it's basically illegal smuggling, right? You can call it illegal slave trade if you want, because that's basically what it is. Behind all of this is so disgusting and terrible, but this is what people want to do. And I'm glad that it's now coming out. I mean, if has anybody seen The Accountant too? Because I was surprised that even was even a topic in there. That was basically part of the point of the main point behind the whole main storyline there. But yeah, this is what they do. Because they would rather go ahead and hire illegal labor for $5 an hour or $5 a day rather than actual Americans. So it drives the wages down. It brings in more people. Then they have to go ahead and build more crappy housing. And then the housing prices go up. So then you get crappy housing on top of that. And now they want to go ahead and take more land away to go ahead and build more crappy housing. You see what I'm getting to over here? That's the problem. If we really want to go ahead and start fixing America, the first thing that needs to happen for people to start having jobs, for the inflation to go down, for anything to really start happening before we can talk about building infrastructure, is rebalancing our country right here. Okay, and it happened. So once a meatpacking plant was raided by ICE, actual Americans went ahead and like crazy started rushing for those jobs. Immigration enforcement leads to a rush of applicants for those jobs from American citizens. There you go. That's what needs to start happening. Okay? Look at this. There you go. Done. No more. Look, all these houses would have been crappy $300,000 homes that would have been already falling apart. Okay? And we've talked about that so many times. And of course, let me see. Where's I just want another excuse to play Margaritaville. If you guys know exactly what I'm going for, this is exactly what I'm going for. Hold on a second. Here we go. Let me look through my bookmarks over here so we can find it. This is the massive problem. Is that again, the people who are coming over here? Yeah, it's bad. It's not good. Okay, and then it becomes a problem later on. But those are not the main problem starters. Okay, that's not where the start of the problem comes from. The start of the problem comes from the traders within that do this sort of shit. I'm sorry for getting upset, and there's a lot to be upset about. I get it, but this is what's upsetting.
Jeopardy. Construction of our home is in jeopardy because the labor situation is completely unknown.
Andy Adamick is supposed to move
For
into his...
The Village is Florida's friendliest hometown. Yeah, there you go. The people who want you to go ahead, there you go. Holden Bloodfeast's home is on hold. Unfortunately, he won't be able to because rest in peace, Mr. Holden Bloodfeast. So, oh well. Oh, too bad. Too bad. But anyway, look, this is the problem. And then we've been seeing this since 2007. This is again. This comes down to really what's going on in America. Forget what's going on in the middle. We need to start fixing here in our country to really start moving things and moving the needle to the right direction. We want to go away. We want to actually go ahead and do something with what we have here in this country. Okay, if we want to get back to, let me see if I can find it. Where is it? We want to get back to this on the top picture over here. If we want that, okay, we need to stop this, okay? And a lot of that stops when we start putting back. It's 350 million people, okay? Look at how dense Detroit was with half the population back then 100 years ago, okay? This was about 100 years ago. America had a population of about 120 million people. There's still cars on the road, a lot of cars, okay? If you've seen any vintage footage of back in those days, a lot of cars on the road. A lot of streetcars, a lot of trains. Okay, we can get back to that. We can have that. Forget back returning. We're not going to return back. We're not going to rewind the clock to this. That's another thing. We're not rewinding the clock back to this. But we can at least restore a part of America of what it was. And we talked about what America could be. Talking about here we go. Where's there we are.
The Milwaukee Road.
We talked about this, how different America used to be back then. Okay? Which speaking of,
The Milwaukee Road.
all right, and I'll go ahead and pour something from
The Milwaukee Road.
there you go. Some Spotted Cow from Wisconsin. This is probably I think this is the best American beer. It fits every and I'm putting it in a mug. Why not? There you go. Froth up. Cheers. There we go. All right. Let's go. We can calm down a bit here. Yeah. Here we are. We're not going to restore that until this sort of thinking needs to go away.
Our home is in jeopardy.
Wasting away again in Margaritaville.
And
That
the
needs to
adamant
go.
is-
That needs to go. Go. It looks like, speaking of, in the great state of Florida, fantastic Florida,
Right in the middle of the Everglades.
alligator
Florida's been
Alcatraz.
leading on immigration enforcement, supporting the Trump administration and ICE's efforts to detain and deport criminal aliens.
There
the
you
governor
are.
tasked state leaders to identify.
You're getting your jobs back. There you go. They took our jobs. Well, you're getting them back. There we go. There we are. That's step one. That is step one. Okay. Look, that has to be the reality. And I know nobody else wants to talk about this, or this is very much not something people would rather talk about in infrastructure. It's somehow, well, it's less taboo now, but we really have to understand that if we want to talk about getting our infrastructure fixed, we have to talk about, first things first. Okay. And let me see. This was a good exchange over here on X. There we are. Just a little bit more so we can talk about this, because this is why the whole federal land just ticks me off. This guy, we're just going to build. The green line go up. Green line go up. I cannot stand these sorts of people, because this is what it turns into. It's literally this meme. If I can put it in here, there you go. It's literally this meme. Yeah, I'm conservative, except for conserving the environment, natural resources, culture, native biodiversity, or traditional values. I'm just talking about conserving the GDP. That's the type of thinking. That's this.
Wasting away again in
That's that type of thinking. Okay, you could fit 437,500 new homes. That's more than all the homes in San Francisco. Yeah, if we just built that Brooklyn density. This is the problem with it's kind of a joke in and of itself. It's a parody of YIMBYism, which is the opposite of NIMBYism. NIMBYism is not in my backyard. And then you have the opposite, which is YIMBYism. Yes, in my backyard. The problem is you have people that are far on the wingnut side of it, that are like, yeah, if we could just build, multi-structured coffee shops everywhere at Brooklyn density of multi-use structures, we can be able. No, there's a balance to it. There's a balance to it. Going ahead and destroying all the beautiful, the beautiful seaside over here in California. Okay, it's a beautiful place to go ahead and to build. Wait, what are we going to build there? We're gonna build these. That's what we're going to build? That? Who's going to build it? These guys? So they can come in later and then start doing this? I think we need to rethink about that. And I'm glad that now it's starting to become a thing. Okay? And like I said, look, we have record surplus of housing. This would only benefit Blackstone. The selling of our land is the most boomer line go up silliness, along with their bloodlust for nuclear war. And then this guy, deport every single legal alien first, and then we can talk. Yeah, and I said, yes, this has to be a prerequisite before any infrastructure. We all know that this would result in more suburban sprawl of crappy new construction homes built by imported master craftsmen, all available for you starting at $450K at 69% APR. Presented by BlackRock and Palantir. Okay? Is that what we want? Okay? Is that what we want to happen? No, we don't. Okay? That's not conservatism. Okay? That's not in any sort of traditional sense. Forget whatever liberal, conservative, or whatever. It's not American. It's un-American. It's frankly un-American. Okay, you had fantastic, and Teddy Roosevelt after Jackson. Teddy Roosevelt is definitely, I think, the second best American president. Okay, establishing the national parks, establishing the protection of beautiful public land, because you do need nature. Okay, and it's an important part of it, because what happens is, here's the thing: when you start seizing people's homes and it gets to this point where it just becomes sprawl everywhere, it gets to this point where you get to this happened in New Jersey, at a 175-year-old farm. These guys have been holding out as long as they can. Small farm over here in New Jersey. Okay, about to be taken away so they can build more public housing. That's it. That's it. And there you go. That's what happens. If you don't do it, the government will take it away. Like we've talked about, Texas Central Rail, the basically probably giant agri farms, big agri, that's going ahead and build. They're either, look, and here's the thing. Look, farmers are great, but 95% of farmers, they're probably all either growing corn or soy, and that's all they grow. 1 year is corn, next year is soy. 1 year is corn, the next year is soybeans. And that's another thing. When you start building out so much, because we have now so many people in this country, and we've built so much suburban sprawl, and you have so many giant, industrial farmland, well, another thing happens. Here's just in my neighborhood, my neck of the woods. Okay, public health advisory issued for Geist Reservoir, parts of the White River. So there you go. The Fishers Health Department has issued a public health advisory for the Geist Reservoir and portions of the White River. According to a news release, the city's health department said it obtained satisfactory results carrying out E. coli testing at the following locations. Okay, at the park. So for those of you, again, who are not too familiar with what the state of Indiana looks like, and this can be anywhere. Okay, and we'll talk about a little bit more about other stuff happening here. This is a big part of Indianapolis where people go for recreation, is this Geist Reservoir over here, which is, it's kind of not a lake and kind of fake. It used to be a lake, and then they just dredged it more for it's kind of a fake lake. It's a fake lake, but because Indiana's a landlocked state, and Indianapolis is not, well, it's not connected to any of the Great Lakes, unfortunately, where if you actually want some real lakes and stuff like that, you're gonna have to kind of go up here. Where all the people from Chicago then go ahead and sweep up and invade into Milwaukee and Wisconsin. I feel bad for the Wisconsinites up there that have to deal with that. But anyway, no offense to anybody in Chicago who's watching. But yeah, leave Wisconsin alone. Leave them alone. You get your own lakes, like Indiana here. But here's the problem. Here's the thing. Because you have so much suburban sprawl all over the place, all these giant farms have to go. Because why? Well, because used to be before, you used to have smaller hamlets or smaller towns, all these places. And this is not just here. It can be any town in the United States. Okay. Let's go to Texas. Texas is probably the worst bit at it. Okay. Dallas and Fort Worth used to be two different cities. It is sprawled out so much that they're basically one area now. It's the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Okay, because there is so much sprawl happening all about over here. I mean, it's insane. You have basically almost look at this. This is insane. You have places that used to be smaller that are now just growing and growing and growing in size. Okay, to accommodate not just the amount of people coming in, but just the changes. It's also behavioral changes. Okay. Because it used to be that Americans didn't have to go ahead and have an hour commute. They didn't have to live out over here to go ahead and commute into the city. Okay? They used to live in the city, work in the city, do everything in the city, or whatever. Or if they weren't in the city, well, they used to live maybe somewhere out over here, anywhere else, okay, and have work over there, live over there, and everything else over there. And before, agriculture used to be smaller. Okay, speaking of supply chain, speaking of logistics, okay, this is all connected to trains somehow. Yes, because why? Because it used to be smaller farms, smaller family farms that used to be way out into the countryside. And it used to do not just corn and soybeans. They used to grow a whole number of things. There used to be a biodiverse area. It used to grow wheat or apples or whatever. And there's still places that have that sort of stuff over here, but they're very few and far in between, because if you really want to survive as a farm, well, you have to grow Monsanto corn or Monsanto soybeans. Okay. And all that fertilizer, all that stuff runs into the water. Let's go back into Indiana. Here we are. We're going back. That's why I don't care what the hell's going on the other side of the world. Okay. Look, let me see. Where's that list? Where is that list here? Somewhere. Where's that list? Indianapolis is not here, and Miami's not here, so I don't care. There we go. I don't care. But anyway, let me go back to the maps. Where did my maps go? Okay. All these giant farms now that are all growing all this crappy corn. Okay. And yes, we kind of do need the crappy corn, because it goes into all our food, all the HFCs, all the plastics and everything else, all the fuel, which is a lot of it. The prices would have gone astronomically no matter what if it was something were to happen. But all that goes ahead, and all that runoff goes ahead and goes into the river, goes into the washes into there, and then you have E. coli. And that's the problem. And then it's a whole bunch of trucks going ahead and taking all that, instead of it used to be smaller trains. We're at an inflection point that everything, the supply chain of America as it stands right now, is starting to come to a crushing point. Now is a good time to start really getting out the idea, because that's the only thing that's going to work. Okay? You're going to have to distribute farms in a way that it's going to be smaller family farms. You cannot have these giant corporations just owning things. It has to start going back to small families, small businesses, and that sort of thing. Because you keep going like this, it's just going to turn into like a cyberpunk dystopia, if it hasn't already. And people are starting to get upset at the way things are. So this is why we're now at a point, and we have to talk about these sorts of things. We want to start talking about rail and all that sort of stuff, but we also have to talk about the supply chain that is behind all that, behind the rail infrastructure. And I know this has been talked about with some other, mainly, now I just forgot the book. I even interviewed him as well. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long day. But anyway, let's kind of go back to all this sort of stuff over here. Yeah, look, I think people are now starting to get the point. People are getting the point. We're getting there. Okay. So, and yeah, we can start building stuff again. And I know one of the biggest points we've talked about, like the New York subway, basically $2.5 billion for the Second Avenue subway, $2.5 billion per mile, the most expensive infrastructure project on the planet. For what? For what? We've talked about this before. Pedestrian observations talked about this. Yeah, look, we have to start rebalancing the United States to really start building this infrastructure again. And we'll get there. But anyway. What's that? What's that? No! Blood Feast is back, guys. We may never get rid of them, can we? Ascended after the U.S. bombed Iran, wants to see the world drown in blood. He's still a respectable bipartisan, by the way. I guess Holden Blood Feast is back to haunt us again, unfortunately. Oh well, guys. Oh well, yeah, it's a problem. It's the type of stuff we have to go against. It really is a kind of a metaphysical war, because we're really going against, when you really think about it, we're going against a whole train of thought that has generationally crushed the country into thinking small, being mediocre. We've become, like I said before, a managed mediocre Margaritaville for the benefit of a few to go ahead and keep building this sort of silliness. And it's like these people haven't honestly grown up, because again, they're building stuff to put the toys. I mean, it kind of, when you think of the term baby boomer, it's true. They're kind of still, in a sense, a lot. Again, I don't have to say. If I have to keep saying, not all of them, I'm gonna get kind of upset. But you guys get the point. It's the problem. We're kind of keeping the country going for people who just kind of don't want to grow up. And that's the thing. We're getting to an inflection point. We can start to fix things again. We can start to have things make a little bit more sense. It's not going to be perfect, but we have to just start making just those small steps. Those small steps. Go to your city councils and ask them, like, every time they start building a new construction project, they take down one giant industrial, cornfield to now go ahead and build these McMansions. Go ahead and ask them. There's probably going to be like 5 council members on there. Ask them, hey, who are they going to be hiring? Are they going to be hiring locals to go ahead and build these homes? Are these homes going to be for locals? Are the prices going to be for local prices? Because I guarantee you they're probably not. And they're going to look at you like this. Okay, and I just saw Moneyball again with my wife. Cool movie. I do like this movie, and again, I'm not this. This is the kind of thing that we're talking about. Like that, you're going against. It's an unfair game, but the reason why it's an unfair game is because the people have basically made it an unfair game. The ones who have created the game have made it unfair for you. So we're the kind of like the younger guys in the room that are going against the old way of how everything is going. That's what we're going up against. Okay.
The ball explodes off his bat. He throws the club head at the ball, and when he connects, he drives it. It pops off the bat. You can hear it all over the ballpark.
Our pop coming off the bat. If he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good?
He is a good hitter. Minor leaguer. He'll be ready.
Yeah, so he's going to be a good hitter when we put him up.
This is what we're going against, guys. This is. Every time I've gone into a council meeting, this is how it is for me. I'm always the youngest guy in the room, and probably still at this age, at 31, I probably will still, like, the next youngest guy is probably going to be maybe 40 something, or maybe you have the secretary who's an intern, maybe she's in her 20s, but that's it. Okay, that's how we're going. We have to change the way that this country is going. All right, I'll go ahead and start finishing up over here because look, we can have it better. We can't have it better. Okay, Japan, who has had Shinkansens and bullet trains for almost 60 years. Well, now 60 years. They have now for 60 years. I remember we were talking about 50 years. It's been 60 years now. We've been at this for quite a while, and I'm going to start to get old. Okay, and at that point, it will be time to pass the torch to somebody else. But I still got time. I'm still 31, I think. Right? I haven't lost my mind yet. But yeah, redesigning all the bullet trains over here again. They're working on that. Well, not all of them, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, a new model is going to be coming out soon to replace the current E2 and E5. Remember the E5 Hayabusa when that was cool. Okay, this is the E5 over here. Okay, this is still just way ahead of anything that we have here in this country. Okay, that's what we have here, and this is what we could be having. Okay. This sort of stuff, right? We could be having the cool super duper bullet trains, okay? But yeah, they're replacing that now. It's they're saying, yep, time to keep going. We have to start keep improving, and we'll get there here in the United States. So let's talk about Brightline, okay? I'm going to talk about Brightline, and then I'm going to talk about 2 more articles, and then we're going to call it a night, okay? And then we're going to go into getting the calls in. We'll do that for 30 minutes, and then we'll call it a night. Sound good? Sound good. Okay. Updated Brightline projects in Southern California include Zig Road, and that's a real road. It's just, they named it like that on purpose. Geotechnical boring will be performed at the I-15 freeway median and the Wildlife Crossing bridges, Mojave Drive and I-15, Kellbreaker Road and I-15, Razor Road and I-15. So there you go. Brightline project includes a flagship passenger station in Las Vegas and stops in Apple Valley, Hesperia, and Rancho Cucamonga. Field testing has continued after Brightline hosted a groundbreaking for its high-speed system in April of 2024. February 2025, Nevada Department officials were told by Brightline officials that construction of the project will begin within the next 2 months. So there you go. And it's happening. So they're already going ahead and doing the work already. So there we go. During the daytime hours, little interruption. We're getting there, guys. We're making the small steps. Okay, it's not going to be the giant maps, and I know some of you guys have go ahead and keep posting the giant. What if we could have intercontinental high-speed rail and national high-speed rail? But the current way, it's this is it. It's not going to happen until that thinking goes away. But at least we can start making small strides to it. Start thinking more locally. Again, we said this for years, and I've said this for years. The federal government, at best, can be a silly piggy bank. All right, a silly piggy bank that maybe at some point will throw away some billions of dollars to your project, or some bonds, or whatever, or grants, which Brightline has taken advantage of, and good. And no, not everything's going to be perfect. Not everything is going to be an Atlas Shrugged, Dagny Taggart, 100% private bullet train, built on the backs of libertarian dollars. No, that's not happening either. Okay, let's be real and realistic. Okay, most of these are going to be public-private partnerships. Okay, Brightline, yes, is a private company, but is essentially working as a public partnership, and that's what we have to start thinking of. Just at least do it. We don't have to make it 100% perfect. If it's at least 85% of the way there, 80% of the way there, hell, we'll take 50% at this rate. Which is what, more or less, people who are complaining that Brightline in Florida is too slow, or is like, oh, they should have gone ahead and done grade separation and make it higher and faster and whatever. They did the best with what they were able to do. You have rail in Florida. You have something there in Florida. It's a much better than what was before, which is nothing, which is where this country is heading really quickly towards. 2017, the American civil engineers went ahead, or Society of Civil Engineers, ASCE, whichever it is, American Society of Civil Engineers, whatever, rated this country's infrastructure as a D+. That's a failure. You fail a class if you get a D. Okay, it's probably an F at this point. But American infrastructure is not crumbling, it's crumbled. So you have to start making the steps. That's what we need to start talking about. Okay? And it's going to get worse. Okay? It's going to get worse as we see the main mode of transportation in this country begin to implode on itself. Because the big three do what the big three have done, especially GM is probably the worst of the big three, the most evil of the big three. We've talked about this so much, about planned obsolescence and the absolute dog water quality of modern American vehicles with the highest amount of recalls in the history of American automobiles. And to the point that they're imploding before they even get to the engines are falling apart the minute you get them off the dealership a lot. Or they're not even made to last, and it's been a thing in GM, and it's now come out. A whistleblower from GM. This is a long interview, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you guys can go ahead and see it. This is the car guy on YouTube. Again, talking about this whole sort of thing about General Motors basically going ahead and saying, yeah, we want to make sure let's skimp out on the metal quality for certain products so they can fail at a certain point. And then we're going to push the maintenance intervals so far across that instead of doing an oil change every 10,000 miles, let's do an oil change every 20,000 miles. Oh, it makes it worse on an engine that's made like crap. So cars are going to get crappier. It's going to turn into Cuba pretty soon. Okay, you're going to be having 30-year-old vehicles with at this point Soviet tank engines at this rate going in there to keep them going. That's where we're heading real quick to Cuba. That's what this country is going into because it's self-imposed on us. Okay, there you go. You're going to be having 1957 Chevy Bel Airs with like 1980s Lada engines in them here in the United States pretty soon. Now, okay, not to that extent, but you get what I'm saying. It's getting really bad. Yeah. And there you go. Older automobiles could have easily serviced or repaired exceeding 250,000 miles. In the process, would be supplanted by new models that were impossible to maintain or lasted an estimated 100,000 miles before the lofty repair bills became too much to endure. There you go. And you can read this whole article. It's more or less all the same nightmarish stuff that we've been talking about. The terrible, absolutely god-awful business practices that have been too ingrained into America right now that need to die. These bad business practices and the people who implement them and think it's business is good as they stare at you with like blank eyes because they're the CEO, those people need to go. This needs to change. So we'll get there. And no, the the Lord and Savior is through Elon Musk. It is not going to solve everything now with his cyber taxi. That is not a fix. That is not a fix to America's infrastructure problems. This is not fixing anything. This is the same thing with just some tech in it. That's it. And as you can tell, well, Tesla hit by train after extreme self-driving mode error, went down the tracks approximately 40 to 50 feet. The Lion hits the small Tesla as it crosses its path. That's basically what happened here. There you go. Yeah. Is that a sign or is that a sign? There you go. Not going to fix anything. That is not a fix. Now, last article. I know I said last article like 5 articles ago, but this is the last one. Here's at least a good thing. So while Palestine is getting blown up, East Palestine, not Palestine, that did get blown up. They're now going ahead and finally doing the National Institute of Health under RFK is now going ahead and going to do a 10 million research initiative aimed at understanding and addressing long-term health effects of the 2023 railroad derailment in East Palestine. So finally, some sort of justice to it. And I hope Norfolk Southern, or let's put it this way, less the company itself and more the leaders and people in charge of that put in the disastrous precision scheduled railroading initiatives through Norfolk Southern that were the basis and foundation of this destructive incident. That's what caused this. Okay, these very corporatocracy, just bad laissez-faire business practices. Okay, capitalism works when capitalism is used as a tool to help uplift your normal everyday families. Capitalism as a weapon from the top to go ahead and whip and destroy modern and middle America is an absolute nightmare. Okay, it's the flip coin. Free range capitalism and communism are two sides of the same coin, and they're both used to beat down the ever living crap out of the person in the middle, out of people who just want to live. And that's the problem. Yes, capitalism works, but not when it's in the hands of awful, terrible people that don't care and get away with this. Again, no consequences means they just keep going. No consequences means no changes. So changes are only going to start to happen when we start seeing consequences for bad things. Whether it's bad companies, getting away with basically murder, destroying for generations the groundwater instead of this, and not just that. I mean, you have what's going on, what happened in with the groundwater in Indiana, or this sort of stuff where they're basically going ahead and making sure, taking advantage of the average American worker, the average American man, women, and children, to go ahead and make cars that are made like garbage. Then they charge you 5 times more than what it would have cost before. $70,000 for a van. The average car price now is approaching $50,000 for a new car, and a used car is approaching $30,000. That's crazy. I remember when you could buy a car for a couple $100 or maybe a few $1,000s. I got lucky buying my car for $6,000. I did my own oil change on it a couple weeks ago, and it's still going. And that car is going to go for, I hope and I pray, at least 250,000, 500,000 miles. It can go a million miles if it wants to. But they're doing this on purpose because they don't want to make stuff anymore. They just want to take advantage of you. And that's what sucks. So finally, something is going to happen where they're going to look at, here we go, longitudinal epidemiological research to understand the health effects and exposures on short and long-term health outcomes, including relevant biological markers of risk, public health tracking and surveillance of the community's health conditions to support healthcare decisions and preventive measures, extensive, well-coordinated communications among researchers, study participants, community stakeholders, healthcare providers, government officials, and others to establish a comprehensive approach to address the affected community's health concern. There we go. So, yeah, that's at least something going on. Okay? Something to at least help our own. Help our own and lift up our own. That's what we need to start thinking about. And this is the last we'll talk about in this. I guess we can call it a 3-part series talking about really the moral basis of building infrastructure here in this country. Okay. Are we necessarily needing to return back to tradition or whatever it is? No, but we have to restore. We have to restore morality when it comes to America, when it comes to American infrastructure. That's what we need to talk about, okay? Giving people a purpose again. Making America's railroads great again starts with that. If we really want to go ahead and really fix our infrastructure, we need to start from the ground up. If you want to get back to this, not get back, but at least bring back our morality and restore what made this country what worked, we need to start getting away from whatever's happening outside and start fixing within here. And we'll get there. We'll bring back something that's at least worth it in this country again. Step by step, and it's going to have to start within our own local communities, starting with ourselves, keeping with our family, and going from there. We'll make it there, okay? If not this generation, the next. And that's why it's important that we keep pushing the word out and spreading the word out. And we'll get there. All right. I'm done talking. I'm glad for all of you who stayed on here and kept with us. Yeah, it's great. I know. Oh, man. Yeah, Spotted Cow's not sponsoring the American Rail Club. Yeah, I know. Good to see you all, too, in the comments. Yeah, Tesla taxis are vaporwave. There you are. Yeah, it's what it is. All right. I've talked enough. Let's bring out everybody into the audience over here. There we go. Into the lounge we go. Again, this was an ARC stream, not an ARC lounge, which is why I kind of talked on and on for a bit. But there we go. All right, let's bring everybody on. Everybody who has their hands up can come on in. So I'm going to invite everybody to go ahead and speak. There we go.
Alrighty.
Hello, hello.
There we are.
Hey, before we get started, we gotta sing it real quick.
Hello, everybody.
Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran.
There you are. The official theme song of Holden Blood Feast. Rest in peace, Mr. Blood Feast. He got what he wanted.
Remember one thing. This was not the first World War III fears. First, we had Israel and Gaza going at
Iran.
it. Then we had Israel and Iran going at it. Then we
There
had
seeming to be a common theme here
for like 5 minutes, and then we
had the Russian-Ukraine war.
No, that's going on for a few years now, so that doesn't count.
I like you've got your Holden Blood Feast meme up there. Where'd you get that? Where'd you find that?
It's not a meme. It's an actual obituary. I'm not kidding you.
Wait, what?
That's an actual obituary?
The rumbling neocon in a nutshell.
Well, hang on,
no, it's not a real person. No, it's not a real person. That's just a meme. But yeah, that's Holden Blood Feast has now finally met its.
Kidding. I'm not kidding.
There's a Holden Blood Feast trilogy now. So yeah, we have Holden Blood Feast and the end of Holden Blood Feast and the demonic ascension of Mr. Holden Blood Feast into ascended demon Prince Holden Blood Feast. So yeah, we have the whole trilogy here.
I got confused a little bit. So you heard of the Union Pacific?
We had a blackout in my area, and I was live streaming, and the power just cut out on me.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. So our roads really suck. And I'm gonna say this right now. Roads. Have you seen the video of the road that buckled in Missouri?
I think I've seen a little bit. Let me hold on. Let me get that.
I pinged you. I think I pinged you actually.
Hold on. Let me.
We have that hot.
It actually got hot enough. A few cities roads buckled, and I think it put Dukes of Hazzard to shame.
Yeah.
But it's rather nice this time of year for me. It's only like 80 degrees outside.
Wait, okay, hold on, wait. Okay, this is what Darius was talking about. Somebody actually made an actual a real obituary for Holden Blood Feast.
We could even plant flowers and even order flowers for him.
Oh man! Wait a second. Hold on. Let me put this in full screen. You guys can be able to see.
Oh God.
Wait. You have to have a moment of silence because he lost a lot of money because all of his stock in Lockheed Martin and Halliburton has gone to waste.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
Oh man!
Dimitri,
I had to hear from him again.
Look, notice the day here that he died.
Oh, when the bombs went. Okay, so let's go to let me see the road that buckled over here. Where was
I
it?
go up.
Up. Where am I going? New listing in California, only 11.7 million. Oh man. Yeah, 600,000 on Zillow. Yeah.
In a little bit.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a fixer-upper.
Willie,
hey, Dimitri,
it's not a
you see
pothole.
There we go. All right.
You're gonna look.
Boy, like I said, yeah, our roads have crumbled. There you go. Roads buckled due to the heat wave. There we go.
The Dukes of Hazzard machine. That's what that did.
Hey, Dimitri, look at the meme I just sent, and it's. All
right, hold on. Wait. Hold on. Wait. We gotta. Come on. Where's the song? Come on, soundboard. Don't film me here.
This is not no
Come on. Hold on. There we go.
The Dukes of Hazzard machine.
There you go. Wait, I gotta time it. Hold on. Wait. Let me time it with the Corolla here, flying up. There we go. Oh man.
Love it.
Oh man.
It was taken right behind it was a car dealership of all places.
Well, if you really wanted to go all out, you'd play Freebird while they're flying.
Just a good
that would get a copyright strike.
There you are.
I can judge this guy.
Yeah, guys, America's infrastructure has already crumbled. Look at this. Well, hey, look. I mean, Toyota Corolla, man. Hey, that's Toyota quality right there. That can take a beating.
Putting the Dukes of Hazzard to shame. It's what it is.
But you have to think about it. It's $20 million to drop a bunker buster bomb that they did, or you can get like 5 to 10 high-speed train sets.
Wasn't that whole operation like $2 billion or $20 billion or something like? It was in the billions.
Yes.
Well, they dropped like 18 bunker busters, but they had to send out the B-2 Spirits in order to drop the suckers, and they could only carry 2 at a time.
Well, yeah, no, they had a whole entire entourage.
Don't forget, we also used 30 Tomahawk cruise missiles to bomb their smaller nuclear sites.
How much was the entire cost?
Are nothing.
Well, the Tomahawk missiles, those are the buy one get one free kind.
Yes, and we absolutely leveled their nuke sites.
PRSMs are actually a much cheaper kicker for precision strike missiles. And
you have to have a $700 billion+ a year defense budget, because if you put that into infrastructure, we'd have a maglev trains to every single major city.
Yeah. All righty. So here we go.
My science teacher had it right.
So yeah. All right. So here's the cost. I asked, what was the entire cost of Operation Midnight Hammer? They're saying likely $500 million to $600 million, or approximately ranging from up to $817 million. So yeah, we basically more or less spent probably $1 billion. Meanwhile, your roads look like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Dimitri.
Hey, at least the military works. I mean, despite the terrible, very disappointing parade, but our roads don't work. Oh, man. Wait a second. Wait a second.
I mean, road buckles happen everywhere. So I mean,
wait,
if it
there was
doesn't
some
tell
guy in
you
a
our
Jeep just
roads are
behind.
kind of shit right now,
There was a Jeep just behind one of the cars, so he's gonna take it with no issue, right? Or is it gonna fall apart?
Okay, wait,
as
hold
it
on.
goes
Where
over?
was the Jeep? Because I'm
Towards the end of the video.
okay. Let's see. Let's see.
Oh, Dimitri.
Oh, we didn't see the Jeep.
Hey,
Hold on.
Wait, sorry about that.
That's fine.
Hey, guy, can I talk?
All right, one at a time.
Sorry.
Okay, David, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, I sent 2 railroad articles in. One talking about Mark, and another one talking about CXX.
All right.
Both of them are pretty good articles.
Okay. Let's see. CSX. Let's go to. Let's do Mark
All the
and
way
then
down.
CSX. All right. Let's do one at a time. Here we go. Bam. Bam, 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 ba, bam, bum, 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 bum. I ran. There we are. Okay, CSX Transportation announces a railroad project. Ooh, cool. I wonder what railroad project it could be. Announced a track maintenance project that would begin on Monday, June 30th, 2025. The project includes the installation of new railroad ties along parts of the CSX Columbia subdivision. There we go. Okay, that's something. So something's getting fixed. And then Mark, MTA plan calls for expanding Mark service frequency across day parts, adding new stops. There we are. Maryland Transit releases Mark growth and transformation plan. Yeah, look, like we've been saying, transit is growing in the United States. Some places are starting to go back to pre-COVID levels, but yeah, it's needed.
Speaking of that, I got tonight meme, and it's probably a curse one for Genesis, but
Oh boy,
Yeah. We're
curse
not
memes.
talking about that one.
Oh no.
Oh no, might block the crossings later. Oh boy.
like y'all get it. Feeling cute might block the crossing later.
Okay. Oh, F's in chat for Dump Trucker. He had to go, so F's in the chat. We'll see you next time, Dump Trucker. But thank you for coming on.
Let hope the power don't cut off again for me, because right before you get ready to invite me when the power cut out.
Wait.
Like literally cut out there for a minute.
That's why you have a backup generator, just in case.
Well, it took
You always have
about
one.
2 to 3 minutes for my internet to come back up, which by then I had to, the live stream already cut off by then, and there was no way it's salvaging that. So.
Hey, at least that's another thing. Again, our electric infrastructure is falling apart. Can't even take a little storm. So what's the point? It's turning into Cuba here.
But funny thing is that I'm right now live streaming again. I had to create another live stream.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I'm
keep moving forward, man. That's what you got to do.
I know, did the second live stream in less than 3 minutes, but I will have to put name, title, everything again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks. Oh man. But here, we're here. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We got to start fixing stuff. All right, go ahead. Last thing, David. And then we got to let somebody else speak.
Also, I'm bringing it up about Maine again. One of the people who were trying to turn that line that they're trying to rebuild in Maine into a trail, let's just say they found some corruption charges.
Is it okay? What sort of charges?
Money laundering.
Is that official? Is there an article about it or something, or is there an actual case going on?
Not an article yet, but right now, expecting a couple of days, probably by the end of this week or the beginning of next week, the article to come out about this.
All right. Well, when that comes out, we'll talk more about that, because I don't want to just go on just analyzing some sort of speculation when there's not actually anything viable out there. I
No,
believe
but
you,
I'm
man, but I
hoping
just want to
that-
make sure that we can have something that we can talk about, just so we can see more of the context behind it and actually have some real substance. Like if there's a charge out for him, or like some evidence, or at least somewhere out in the county that somebody's talking about it, and it's just an article at least.
Oh, no. Oh, being that BNSF and not having a good week with Mother Nature.
I don't think anybody is.
Like literally 2 trains got taken out by EF3, EF4 tornadoes. A third one literally got knocked out by a massive microburst or like a windstorm.
Straight line
So,
wins.
Mother Nature is taking out BNSF for some crap. I'm surprised that did not happen into Norfolk Southern. Also,
Yeah, no,
we do
it's
got-
a crazy summer.
Yeah,
we do got some to the salute grade. I just sent the article about this.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that's it.
The salute grade to officially no more. Moment of silence.
Well, you gotta think about how steep the grade is. It's pretty steep.
There you are. Okay, Coalition completes purchase of Salutigrade for trail. Ah, man. There, another one. Another one bites the dust, guys.
Funny thing is, I hate saying it's stupid. It really seems F in chat too, but this is stupid. Like literally, let me bring it up. Like the towns that are along the Saluda Great are going to die off. Tourism is not going to save their ass. Even though what just happened to them back last year with that hurricane, like, did think about it. Turn it into a rail trail and not going to bring in the tourism. It's not.
No, and the rail trail is only for like a couple of people over there. They're just gonna put on some leotards and then pretend they're in LARPing like it's the Tour de France. That's basically what a rail trail turns into. Either that, or you hear it on the news, like 25-year-old woman was murdered and hacked to death on the rail trail. This morning or something like that. That's basically all you hear about a rail trail at this point.
I know. I'm sorry, but rail trails are like vaporware. They're boondoggles.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, 31 miles, a 31-mile rail trail. Nobody's gonna come on. Nobody's gonna like. There's gonna be like 1 or 2 people that are just gonna complete that. Come on, that's ridiculous.
No. You're underestimating it. It's going to be 100, 150 a year.
Okay, maybe. Instead of, I don't know, maybe actually having a working train on there. Yeah, no, that's a shame. All righty.
And to change the subject, do we know if the Veil of Liberty is still on for July 7th?
Yeah, that would be
a week and a half.
Yeah.
That will be an ARC lounge.
That will be. I'll be live streaming that too. Everybody here, we all got a live streamed into YouTube.
And then watch. They're a few days out. They're gonna be like, oh, we're gonna have to delay it a few days, and we're like, oh,
no, let's not let that happen. Let's not happen. Please no.
Well, we're still waiting on World War III, and with all the betting markets going on, I'd say the best World War III candidate right now is the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Right now, I'm getting 3-1 odds.
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's just stuff happening up there, and yeah, it's. I mean, then again, I don't think World War III is going to start from any sort of. I don't know. At this point, things are quiet for now. I mean, the ceasefire got broken in like 12 minutes within there, and then it stopped again. So I don't know. At this point, it's like we shouldn't have anything to do with that. Let them go ahead and fight. At the very least, let them go ahead and fight it out. But we have stuff to fix over here.
Oh yeah.
We got lots of.
Well, if they fight, we got the military-industrial complex that can supply them all the weapons they want.
Yeah, we don't need hypersonic missiles to do the damage to America than what American mediocrity has done to ourselves.
Oh
Was
yeah.
Well, less mediocrity and more of just
more building
incompetence.
Yeah, blatant incompetence. Yeah.
With delayed maintain.
Yeah, Israel did not blow up this Palestine. This was Norfolk Southern over here. Okay, everything else that's going on, that's not any foreign country. That's our own country doing it. Our own countrymen are going ahead and hiring on illegal scab labor to go ahead and build more crappy retirement homes.
Supposed to know.
Yeah, but without the government, who's gonna light those vinyl chloride canisters on fire and let it burn for about 2 days, even though they didn't need to?
Oh,
Yeah,
Dimitri.
that's ridiculous. The whole entire situation is nuts.
I'm gonna bring that one thing up about the Saluda grade. Here's something funny. There are trains in Europe that go up, and I'm talking about commuter trains and passenger trains that go up grades deeper than the Saluda grade in Europe.
Yep. Yeah, but is it on the cog?
No, there are actual in Switzerland. There is one rail grade that are actually a little bit steeper that is not cog that go up a little steeper than Saluda grade. And here's the thing. They thought they were jumping the foot because here what I'm gonna say. That could have been a good passenger route because passenger trains used to come from Charleston, South Carolina, my home city, going up to Louisville, Kentucky, going through the Saluda grade. And I'm talking about passenger train. Like, now, if we ever tried to bring a train back from Trenton to Louisville, Kentucky, guess what? We don't have a straight route there. We'll have to go all the way around. You know?
Yeah, it is a shame. So here you go. The former Southern Railway line was once the steepest mainline railroad in the United States with a 4.7 grade, including a brief stretch at 5.1. Opened in 1878, the route last saw service through 2001. So yeah, that's a very sad thing to see. I mean, just a historic railroad like that just now going to be turned to again Margaritaville and a leotard.
And you know what's funny? Funny, the amount of trucks on the interstate from Spartanburg to Asheville with the interstate I rode on, the amount of truck from 2001 until now have tripled. Like tripled. More trucks on that road. I'm sorry. That road, I rode that road a couple of times. That road is effing dangerous. And the fact is that could have been putting half of that stuff on trains. Like, the train don't need to be super long, you know? Like, it's ridiculous saying, they're no use in the rail line. Yes, there effing is. I'd rather have to be put on a train, be moved up from Spartanburg to Asheville instead of by truck on the interstate. Like, it is. And Dimitri, oh yeah.
Well, there
Dimitri,
is the old Chinese curse. May you live in interesting times.
Yeah, interesting times indeed.
I will bring up.
Not one
There's
more
only
yellow
a-
bus.
There's
Not one
going to
more
be a
crashing yellow bus.
there is going to be a point that it probably about next 20 years, probably not even that they're going to realize that they're going to need trains going from Spartanburg to Asbuilt. They're probably going to be a realization, and now that technically the rail line officially gone, they're going to be a realization that they're going to have to build a whole new rail line from the ground up.
Yeah, but you're trying to argue with people who can't think past the next election cycle.
I know. People always take short-term profit.
That's fine. Again, we're battling something that's been around for close to 2 or 3 generations. I mean, you know what's crazy is that the average age in Congress is, I believe, 67. Correct me if I'm wrong over there. But
it's mid to high 60s.
It's around there. It's around there. All the founding fathers of this country were all in their late teens, 20s, 30s. About the average age, I think around 31 or something like that. They were mostly young, and that's different.
Except Benjamin Franklin, who was the
Benjamin Franklin was
philanthropist.
Well, he was a different character.
Yeah,
but he was good at making friends and influencing people in interesting ways.
In interesting ways, indeed, especially the females.
Yes, themselves. Especially females.
Fun fact that map you just sent into Discord map. There were more railroad tracks than this back in the day. Like, we had a whole bunch more rail system in South Carolina than this. If you look on abandonrails.com and click on South Carolina, you would see a whole bunch of stuff. Like, we had a lot more railroad companies back in the day. It was around the 70s and the 80s that they started going after our rail system.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Average age of the 55 delegates to the Constitutional Convention was approximately 44 years old. Notable: Benjamin Franklin was 81. George Washington was 55. Hamilton was 32. Madison was 36. The average age in Congress right now is 58.9 years old, with the House of Representatives averaging 57.7 and the Senate averaging 63.8. Yeah.
We got common sense coming back with younger people coming back, like AOC, Luna.
No, not those two. That's a lack of common sense. Look, doesn't mean that it doesn't mean young means better, but it means that at least a better execution of ideas can come from a younger subset of people. And look, it's when you look throughout history. I mean, some of the people who have made some of the greatest amount of changes all tended to be younger. Or like Alexander the Great was what? Not even didn't even reach the age of 21.
He died like 32 or 33.
30, yeah, about that time. Christ was 33.
It's me. Oh yeah, and
Julius Caesar crossed Rubicon in his late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're about to get a storm coming in about 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, Demetrius. There's a small example out in a small Atlantic island that really highlights our point really well. In Bermuda, there used to be a Bermuda Railway. It would carry tourists and residents alike.
Look at that.
And cars would not be allowed until 1946. The moment the cars were in, you could guess what happened.
Yeah.
Come on, boys.
No destruction. They can justify.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I know. Yeah.
And now we got buses down there.
Like, I have noticed that any place that fight off cars normally do better than places that allow cars in, you know? Like, any place, any city, any country that make it hard for car infrastructure and make it hard for big automotive to do their shit always do better than people who allow big automotive in.
Yeah, that's why people want to go to Mackinac Island in Michigan.
Extremely car limited.
Well, yeah,
cities should
I'm
be
saying that-
extremely car
That's one of-
limited, like just police or trucks, freighters, or little cars, except in emergency.
Here's something I'm gonna say.
People shouldn't have to worry so much about being hit by cars when walking in a city center.
Yeah.
I know, but let me get what I'm trying to say. When you think about car, think of them like a truck. Think of them like crack. Like, I have a nickname for car called car crack.
Cars definitely have their place. They have their place.
Yeah, cars have a place. We know, David. We know. It's just look. Again, it's about having a balance or making steps to having that balance.
Look, you finally joined. Hey, Brightline.
There he is.
Yo, what's up?
What's up?
We were waiting for you.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Sorry about that. I just had I was in the middle of a call. Anyway.
Well, you could have them on our call with us.
No, those are my colleagues from college. So.
Speaking of, we're probably going to be putting this in the station at 9:45, so we'll go ahead and start concluding. Sorry you came in late, Brightline fan.
Nah, relax. Anyways, well, I see what's going on with Iran. By the way, they just sent some bunker busters over there.
Oh,
yeah, that's old news now.
Well, they were redecorating the area, and now they're sending out some specialists to work on the topographical maps. They kind of changed a bit.
Yeah. Again, I don't know to what extent to what the damage was, because even the week before they were talking about that those like Fordo and some of the other nuclear enrichment sites were so deep beneath the ground, they're like 80 meters deep, that even the GBU 57s could only get down to like maybe 40, maybe 60 meters at best, but they wouldn't be able to reach down there. So what they probably did was maybe go to the entrances.
At like 200 feet down, you know what? It would be really actually useful for them to break apart meteors like the one in Armageddon.
Okay, but that's a completely different thing. I think we have enough terrible things going on, and we don't need to add another to it now with the meteor. That's just that's enough, please. I mean, at this point this year, I mean, we could have that on the bingo card. I think. What do you think, Miners Free? Is that
that one's you have to buy that new bingo card. Those are the special kind. Those are $500 per bingo card.
Yeah, that's
it's not the regular ones.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too much, but yeah, again, I don't know, and who cares at this point what sort of damage they did to their nuclear weapons or nuclear weapon enrichment sites or whatever. Again, it wasn't a bunker buster that did this sort of damage to America's roads. That's again, we need to restrain our priorities, and I think this has been everybody now either online or at work or anywhere else, or people you talk about, they're sick and tired of whatever's going on with the Middle East, of being dragged over there by one particular country in particular that keeps dragging us over there and saying, oh, it will be positive reverberations in the region if we were to take out this leader. Oh, wait, no, we have to take out this leader. No, take out this leader. We're done. We have to fix stuff here.
Iran is quite stable if you look.
Well, now you're pissed. Well, look,
a couple of videos of Tehran.
Now they're all pissed off. They're all pissed off now.
It's a Rick and Morty meme.
Yeah, you just went ahead.
Let's go in and out 20 minutes.
Yeah, in and out 20-minute adventure.
Listen, you can create a
Morty, please. No, I don't want to. Come on.
In and out 20 minutes.
And you know what the plan is going to do?
Whop it,
that's it.
All right, I'm sorry, Adam. Go ahead.
I said you got one button you got to press, and you have no idea what that button is going to do. It's all over the White House, and basically over the government industries.
Yeah, things are changing.
It's a mess out there.
Yeah, everything's.
little photo I sent in a couple of weeks ago. Like, y'all remember this?
Yeah.
On fire?
Yep.
It like this.
There
It
you are.
like everything fine.
But don't worry, it's the world's favorite dumpster fire. It's a fan favorite.
The most wonderful, really wonderful armed force they should be concerned about is in the Americas area. You ever heard of the Monroe Doctrine?
Yeah, but if we were to enforce the Monroe Doctrine, there would be a lot more interesting events that would happen. First of all, the cartels
only
would
the
be
Monroe Doctrine. Only Monroe Doctrine. Just let Afro-Eurasia, which includes all in the middle of it, our greatest ally is inside Afro-Eurasia.
Listen, here's the thing about about those cartels. Listen, every time when Iran and Israel go to, and every time when every single country goes to war, Latin America is like doesn't even care about it. We just chill. We've been chilling except for Venezuela.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna be like where were the pictures? Let me see if I can find those pictures of. Hold on a second. This will be. Let me see if I can find that picture in Lebanon where the missiles were going over towards Israel. Like they were just basically all just. There's a guy with the saxophone. They were just all just chilling and having a party. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see.
Actually, if you look at Latin America, it isn't really too stable with the cartels. And if there was some future foreign power in the future that becomes like a Genghis Khan 2.0 and wants to take over, literally invade America, that's where the Monroe Doctrine comes. So that empire won't have any proxies in any part of the Americas where they could easily go and invade the homeland.
Yeah, look, this is what happened when World War III comes to America and the missiles are coming over. This is going to be Brightline fan of the Dominican Republic watching the missiles fly over. This is what he's going to be seeing over there.
Oh God.
Hold on, wait. Let me take a screenshot real quick
people
for.
in Texas will be joining me outside, trying to shoot them down with shotguns and rifles, and getting limited results.
The expected results, as in you can't hit it.
Well, you hit it, but it doesn't blow up.
Yeah,
because you hit it in the wrong place.
It's worth a try.
That's the worst thing that happens. You know what happens if it blows up?
Speaking of that, Dimitri, look what I just sent in the live stream chat. Look what I just sent.
Hold on.
Look at it.
No.
Here.
Honestly.
In a VRL engine. Look at it.
That looks like that would be something from the 1950s. They actually built a locomotive just like that.
Iran actually gave us today Qatar an early 4th of July fireworks show.
What on earth is that?
Without any real
a turbo train? What is this? Is cursed.
These buckets.
Who put this here? Who made that?
This is David. So
this is cursed.
We might have to ban him for. We might have to ban him for a week for that.
No more GE products. I'm sorry, no more GM products, please. No more. Alrighty. I think we're out of time here, guys. It's 9:45, so that's
That's a 1 week ban right there.
No, it's City Edit. It's City Edit. Like I found it on City Edit, and I said, "Oh God, we got to talk crap about Shitty Edit."
No, that is very much cursed. Here for those of you who are watching and have no clue what that is, that's the GM. Hold on. Here we are. There's Aero Train. There we are. Yeah, GM has this weird thing of making some cool stuff and then destroying them. But yeah, GM made what was called the Aero Train. They actually did that, but yeah, this is cursed. That is very cursed. All righty,
we're
guys.
gonna beat up David later. Don't watch after the stream.
Yeah. All righty. Hold on. Where's my where is it? There we go. All righty. We're out of time, guys. Thank you all for coming on board this wild ride. It's been a crazy one this June. Hopefully, I think that's it. Are we done for June? Is that it? Are we good? Nothing else is gonna happen?
Day. Oh, one more thing. It's Leon Day. Merry half Christmas.
Wait, what?
That's right. It's 6 months. It's 6 months away from when.
Get the baseball bat now.
Exactly 6 months from
It's
Christmas.
actually half
Day.
a year. It's half a year done.
And I plan to watch some Rudolph and Frosty Christmas in July.
Please don't freeze Mariah Carey, okay?
Do not put Mariah Carey on in June.
Get the baseball bat.
Okay.
Baseball bat.
It's a baseball season.
All righty, guys. We're gonna end it there. Okay. Thank you all for coming on board this. The wild ride has. We've reached our final stop. We're here, guys. All righty. Thank you all for joining on board on this wild ride here on the American Rail Club. Make sure you like and subscribe. Yes, I have to do the whole spiel before we go. Thank you all. Like, subscribe, and we will see you all next time. Godspeed. Hopefully, no World War III. Stay safe out there. We'll see you all next time. Take care.
See you next time, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice night.
Please like it.